Hello and welcome to Chapter 2. If you haven't yet watched Chapter 1, it'll give you some good background on this series. In this chapter, I'm going to start identifying some of the celebrity entertainer friends who came to visit my grandparents in Palm Springs, California at the Palms. These friends were identified by my dad, Charles Redlick, in his 1996 voiceover of the films made in the mid-1930s. When the Chicago outfit made its move west to take over Hollywood, many of its associates located in Palm Springs. Let's start with my grandparents, Al and Mildred Epstein. They were from Chicago and relocated to Palm Springs in the late 1920s, early 1930s. He was an entertainment attorney, and from what I've been able to put together, he worked for Jewel Stein and Lou Wasserman at MCA, Music Corporation of America. This explains why all these entertainers came to visit in Palm Springs. I'll start with Sophie Tucker. Sophie Tucker was born Sonia Kalish on January 13, 1887 in Ukraine. She was a singer, comedian, actress, and radio personality. Known for her comical and risque songs, she was one of the most popular entertainers in America during the first half of the 20th century. In 1907, Tucker made a first appearance singing at an amateur night in a vaudeville theater. In 1909, at the age of 22, she performed with the Ziegfeld Follies. In 1911, she released her hit song, Some of These Days. Sophie performed in many nightclubs owned by the Chicago outfit, like the Chez Paris. My parents took me to see her perform in San Francisco's North Beach at the Club Lido in 1956. We met with her in the late afternoon in her dressing room. She was wearing a gown, her hair was in curlers, she had no makeup on, and was smoking a cigarette. I called her Aunt Sophie. When the show started, we were sitting in the front row, and she had transformed herself. Born Morris Hyman Kushner in New York City on February 2nd, 1912, Burton Lane studied classical piano as a young child. He was known for his Broadway musicals, Finian's Rainbow in 1947, and On a Clear Day You Can See Forever in 1965. Some of Lane's best-known songs include Old Devil Moon, Too Late Now, How About You, and the title song from On a Clear Day. He shared a Grammy Award in 1965 for the Best Broadway Cast Album of the Year, On a Clear Day You Can See Forever. Lane is also credited with discovering the 13-year-old Frances Gumm, Judy Garland, as he caught her sister's act at the Paramount Theater in Hollywood, which featured a movie and a live stage show. The sisters, Susie and Mary Jane, brought on their younger sister Frances, who sang Zing Went the Strings of My Heart. Lane immediately called Jack Robbins, head of the music department at MGM, and told him he'd just heard a great new talent. Robbins told him to bring her in the next day for an audition, which Lane did. Robbins was knocked out by the little girl's voice. Lane played the audition piano for her. Burton Lane didn't work with her again for 7 years in Babes on Broadway. But it was definitely he who discovered her. In these films from the Palms, Burton came with his uncle and aunt, Milton and Lillian Smith from Chicago. Milton was an attorney. Burton Lane died January 5th, 1997, in New York City. In Chapter 3, I'm going to talk about more celebrity friends who came to visit my grandparents at the pub.